जय बिहारी जय गोपी जन बल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन बल्लभा वरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदा नंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन वनतीरावनचारि वनतीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदा नंदन व्रज जन रंजना वनतीरावनचारि वनतीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधा गिरिधारी राधे राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौरा निताय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय गौरा निताय जय गौरा निताय जय गौरा हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल जय गौरा हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Sri Sri Radha Giridhari Ki Jai Sri Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Bhagwan Ki Jai Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Dhruvantam Swakatha Krishna Punya Sarvanam Kirtanam Hridayantasto He Bhadrani Vidyunoti Sutta Satam Nasta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Slokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasdev, the author. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the age to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. We'll now read from Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrita. So, yeah, okay. We're talking, reading Prabhupada Lilamrit. They are talking on the battlefield, and Arjuna says, I will not fight. I will not fight with my relatives and brothers for the sake of achieving some kingdom. No, no. Now, to the ordinary man, it appears that, oh, Arjuna is very nice, nice man, non-violent. He has given up everything for the sake of his relatives. Oh, what a nice man he is. This is the ordinary calculation. But what does Krishna say? He says, you are damn fool. Number one. Now, just see the things which are estimated in the public eye as very nice, very good. That is, here condemned by God. So you have to see whether the Supreme Consciousness is pleased with your actions. And Arjun's actions was not approved by Lord Krishna. It was for his own whim, sense gratification, that at first he would not fight. But in the end, for Krishna's satisfaction, he did fight. And that is our perfection, when we act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Consciousness. At this point, some in the audience are filled with reservations. They are all opposed to the role of the United States in Vietnam. And this idea is very difficult for them. Like Arjun, they want peace. So why is Swami sanctioning war? Remember, this is the time when there was a Vietnam War going on. He explains, yes, Arjuna's idea not to fight is good, but then Krishna, the Supreme Consciousness, instructs him to fight anyway. Therefore, Arjuna's fighting is above mundane ethics. It is absolute. If we follow Arjuna, give up good and bad, and act for Krishna, not for our sense gratification, then that is perfect, because Krishna is the supreme consciousness. To some in his audience, although his answer seems philosophically sound, it is not quite what they want to hear. Still, they want to know his political views. Does he support America's involvement in Vietnam? Is he anti-war? But Prabhupada is neither hawk nor dove. He has no political motive behind his example of Krishna and Arjuna. His theme is simple, pure, beyond good and bad, and is the absolute, and to act in accord when the absolute is also beyond good and bad. Is that all, Prabhu? Okay, let me share my screen. Coming back. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. Can you see this, my screen, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, everything all right.
Okay. Canto 4, chapter 24, text 64. The chapter title is Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva. Text 64. Srishtam swasake sakteyedam anupravishtam. Srishtam swasaketedam anupravishtam. Chaturvidhyam purma atma sakena atmam sankena. Chaturvidham Puranamatma Sankena Ato Vidustam Purusham Santam Anta Bhujangte Rishikera Madhusare Gam Yaha. I'll try again. Srishtam Swa Saktedam Anupravishtas Chaturvidham Puram Atmam Sakena Ato Vidhasatam Purusham Santam Antar Bhunakte Rishikere Madhusare Gamyaha Srishtam Swa Saktedam Anupravishtas Chaturvidham Puram Atmam Sakena Ato vidhusatam purusham santam antare gunakte rishikere madhusare gamyaha. Anybody else, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I am trying.
Yeah, okay.
Prishtam Shashoktedamanam Prabhishtas Chaturvidam Puram Atmam Shakena Atho Vidustam Purusham Shantamantar Bhunte Rishikar Madhu Sharaganya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mataji.
Krishtam Swashakvedam Anupravishtas Chaturvidham Puram Atmam Shakena Atho Vidustam Purusham Shantamantar Bhukti Rishikoir Madhu Sharagam Iya. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anybody else with us?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. May I
Yeah,
try?
Mataji, read, please.
Shishtam swasakkedam anupravishtas chaturvidham puram atma sakena atho vidustam purusham santam antar bhunakte rishike madhu saregamya. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else around? No one? Okay, let me read the synonyms. Srishtam in the creation. Swasakteya, by your own potency. Idam, these cosmic manifestations, anupravishta, entering afterwards, chaturvidham, four kinds of Puram bodies, Atma Sakhena, by your own part and parcel, Atho, therefore, Vidhu, know, Tam, him, Purusham, the enjoyer, Santam, existing, Anta, within, Bhunakte, enjoys, Rishikahe, by the senses, Madhu, sweetness, Saragam, honey, Yah, one who. In translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada writes, My dear Lord, this is Lord Shiva singing prayers to Lord Krishna, and this we are repeating that. And Lord Shiva recites, My dear Lord, after creating by your own potencies, you enter within the creation in four kinds of forms, being within the hearts of the living entities. You know them and know how they are enjoying their senses. The so-called happiness of this material creation is exactly like the bee's enjoyment of honey after it has been collected in the honeycomb. I'll read the translation because the purport explains what it means. Lord Shiva says, My dear Lord, in his prayer to Lord Krishna, after creating by your own potencies, you enter within the creation in four kinds of forms. Being within the hearts of the living entities, you know them and know how they are enjoying their senses. The so-called happiness of this material creation is exactly like the bee's enjoyment of honey after it has been collected in the honeycomb. Srila Prabhupada explains further in his purpose, the material cosmic manifestation is an exhibition of external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because dull matter cannot work independently, the Lord himself enters within this material creation in the form of a partial expansion. It's called Paramatma. And he enters also by his separated parts and parcels, the living entities. In other words, both the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead enter into the material creation just to make it active. As is stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 5, Aprehamiti sva anyam prakritim vidhi me param jivhutam mahabhavo yayedam dhartiya jagata. Besides that's the translation of the shloka, Bhagavad Gita shloka. Besides this inferior nature, Almighty armed Arjun, there is a superior energy of mind which consists of all living entities who are struggling with the material nature and are sustaining the universe. Since the material world cannot work independently, the living entities enter into the material manifestation in four different types of bodies. The word Chaturvidha is significant in this verse. The four types of living entities born within this material world. Some are born by way of an embryo, prahuja, and by eggs, andaj, perspiration, svedaj, and like the trees by way of seeds, udvij. Regardless of how these living entities appear, they are all busy in the pursuit of sense enjoyment. The materialistic scientist contention that living entities other than human beings have no soul is nullified here. Whether they are born through an embryo, egg, respiration, or seeds, all living entities in the 8,400,000 species of life are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And each, therefore, is an individual spiritual spark and soul. The Supreme Personality of Godhead also remains within the heart of the living entity, regardless of whether the living entity is a man, animal, tree, gem, or microbe. The Lord resides in everyone's heart. And because all living entities who come to this material world do so in order to fulfill their desire for sense enjoyment, the Lord directs the living entities to enjoy their senses. Thus, the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, knows everyone's desires, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Sarvasya chahamirdo sannivisto mata simirti jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Remaining within the hearts of all living entities, the Lord bestows remembrance by which the living entities can enjoy certain things. Thus, the living entities create their enjoyable honeycomb and then enjoy them. The example of the bees is appropriate because when bees try to enjoy their honeycomb, they have to suffer the bites of other bees because bees bite one another when they enjoy honey. They are not exclusively enjoying the sweetness of the honey, for there is also suffering. In other words, the living entities are subjected to the pains and pleasure of the material enjoyment, whereas the Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing their plans for sense enjoyment, is aloof from them. In the Upanishad, for example, the Upanishad's example is given of two birds sitting on a tree. One bird, the jiva, or the living entity, is enjoying the fruits of the tree, and the other bird, Paramatma, is simply witnessing. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, text 23, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Paramatma, is described as Upadrashta, the overseer, and Anumanta, the Femita. Thus, the Lord simply witnesses and gives the living entity sanction for sense enjoyment. It is the Paramatma also who gives the intelligence by which the bees can construct a hive, collect honey from various flowers, store it, and enjoy it. Although the Paramatma is aloof from the living entities, he knows their intentions and he gives them the facilities by which they can enjoy or suffer the result of their actions. Human society is exactly like a beehive, where everyone is engaged in collecting honey from various flowers or collecting money from various sources and creating large empires for common enjoyment. However, after these empires are created, the bites of other nations have to be suffered. Sometimes nations declare war upon one another, and at the same time suffering from the bites of that are at the same time suffering from the bites of other persons or nations. The Supreme Personality of God as Paramatma is simply witnessing all these activities. The conclusion is that both the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Jivas enter into this material world. However, the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is worshipable because he has arranged for the happiness of the living entities in the material world. Because it is the material world, however, no one can enjoy any kind of happiness without inability. Material enjoyment means inability. Inability means suffering. Whereas spiritual enjoyment means pure enjoyment under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. thus ends. Srishtam swasakedam anupravistas chaturvidham puram atmanasakena ato vidhustam purusham santam antar bhunakte rishikera madhusara gam yaha sargamya. Translation, my dear Lord, after creating by your own potencies, you enter within the creation in four kinds of forms, being within the hearts of the living entities. You know them and know how they are enjoying their senses. The so-called happiness of this material creation is exactly like the bee's enjoying of honey after it has been collected in the honeycomb. Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Loknath Swami के नामने Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami के नामने Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvisese Sunyavadi Paschat Desatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalum Pangam Langrayat Girim Yet Kirpatam Ham Bande Guru Deen Tarine Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurue Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamlam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijan Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamsa He Krishna Karna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Jaitam Surto Pangora Mama Manamatere Gati Mate Sarvas Padam Bhoja Radha Madana Mohan Tapta Kanchani Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vineshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhayascha kripa sindhu bhayo eva chapatitanam pavana bhayo Vaishnavyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanand Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam.
In these prayers offered by Lord Shiva, those people who have been following would have realized that Lord Shiva is describing the potencies of Lord Krishna. In the past times, he actually describes how he looks like, what he is doing, and what his energies are deep. If you go through, just by going through this prayer, you get the full knowledge of who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how is he creating and what his actions are. Lord Shiva is sort of summarizing the whole creation and the potencies of Lord Krishna in just one prayer. But of course, this prayer is quite a long one, about 70 or so slokas. And here in this particular sloka, Lord Shiva is describing how the Lord is creating four kinds of forms. The four kinds of forms are Srila Prabhupada is mentioned: Jarayuj, Andaj, Svedaj, and Udvij. Jarayuj is embryo that comes out of mother's wombs, and eggs like birds and reptiles, respiration, and seeds. Seeds are plants and trees. And one important thing is mentioned here is the scientists, and of course in other religions, you will see that they don't consider the other living beings have any soul in it. But this particular sloka here nullifies that. Lord Shiva is mentioning that the Lord creates and 4 types of entities, and then as Paramatma goes and resides in all everything, even a microbe has got a soul and then the super soul of Paramatma in it. The 8.4 million species of different types of is living entities. So sloka in Padma Puran, Jalaja no Lakshani, Stavara Laksha Vimasati, Karimyo Rudra Sankhya, Pakshi Nama Dasa Lakshanam, Trimsala Lakshani Pashwa, Chatura Lakshani Manusyaha. Now that means 9 million species of aquatics, that's water-borne living entities. 20 million species of plants, 11 million species of 20 lakh. So what is 20 lakh? 2 million. And 11 lakhs of insects, 1.1 million, and 1 million species of birds, and 3 million species of animals, and 400,000 species of humans. So this is the breakdown of how many different types of living entities are there, and the scientists are still trying to discover some of these things. And Lord Shiva in this sloka also describes 2 things that he mentioned there, that Lord Krishna is residing in every living entity and is witnessing what we are, what everybody is doing without interfering, is just a witness there. And also combining our sense enjoyment like bees. I'd never realized that bees bite each other as well. I thought just they bite others who try to pick up the honey. So the bees, the honey is the sweetest thing, but and they struggle whole day collecting pollen, the nectar, and create honey. But at the end, when they want to enjoy it, they're beaten by others. Similarly, Prabhupada compares that we spend so much effort, so much money and energy creating a nation which is then attacked by other nations. At the moment, we know that in Middle East as well as Russia and many other places, you really can't enjoy the fruits of your labor peacefully. Somebody is trying to grab it. And coming back to individuals, we work so hard, collect things, and want to enjoy. When the time comes to enjoy, somebody comes and robs it, or even nobody else attacks with our body. This saying that we spend half our lifetime collecting money or working to, so then the second half we try to make up for the lost health, look after our health. If in the beginning, we don't care about our health when we are young and energetic, but late collecting money and funds and everything, but later, what do? We spend that in maintaining our health. So even if thieves and robbers don't steal our things, our own body doesn't help us, allow us to enjoy what we have been working on. I just want to share one other thing. We made a chart of the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let me get the slide ready, done. Yeah, good. Okay. See the oh, what happened? The expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the first expansion is Balaram. Balaram expands in 4 expansions, quadruple expansions. Remember, the first one is Aniruddha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, and Pradyumna. And then this, remember, Balaram is also known as Sankarshan. So first Balaram, then the second quadruple is also a Balaram there, Sankarshan. And this Sankarshan expansion, there's one expansion, Narayan, and then the Sankarshan makes a second quadruple, 4 expansions. Again, Anirudh, Vasudev, Mahasankarshan, and Pradyumna. And that Mahasankarshan expands into Karnodakshai Vishnu, so Mahavishnu, and sorry, my fingers not behaving with, not going. Okay, I won't touch the keyboard. The first one is, this is the Purusha Avatar, Karnodakshai Vishnu, also known as Mahavishnu. And then we have got Garbhodakshai Vishnu, also known as Ananta Sesha, and Garbhodakshai Vishnu expands into the Brahma and Shiva. And then, of course, the consorts her, and then Shirodakshai Vishnu stays in, goes and resides in our hearts as the Paramatma. So, thought I would share this. And of course, from Krishna, you've got Radharani. If you can read, I don't know how clear it is on your phones. You're using a computer, you may be able to. Did I share this? Sorry.
No, it's not visible, bro.
Huh?
No, you can't see the.
Yeah, I forgot to share it. Let me share it. Sorry, I got carried away. Can you see now?
Yes, bro. Thank you.
Good. Sorry, I'll go over again. This is a flow chart I made from. It's based on Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. The first Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First expansion is Balaram, also known as Sankarshan. And then from Balaram is 4, the first quadruple expansions, Aniruddha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, and Pradyumna. Sankarshan, remember, is also known as Balaram. And from Sankarshan, then you get Narayan expansion, and from Sankarshan, you get another, the second quadruple expansions of Anirudh, so also named by same name, Anirudh, Vasudev, Mahasankarshan, and Pradyumna, also Sankarshan. And the second, this now comes to third stage. Second Sankarshan expands into 3 Vishnus, Karnodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Shirodakshai Vishnu. which Shirodakshay Vishnu is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, and Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who is in the each universe, and from his navel, Lord Brahma and from him expansions of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and of course the concerts. And going back to Lord Krishna, the first female expansion is Radha and Rani, and then you get all the other expansions, concerts, Lakshmi and Saraswati, Durga, Maya, and so forth. Okay, that's all. The Prabhupada has explained let me get back to this sloka. Prabhupada has very elaborately explained the sloka. I don't think I can do any better than that. Let me get the, where is it gone? Text. Anyway, I've lost the text. Any questions, please? Any questions or comments? Sorry, got it. No one, let me sum it up then. I'd like to remind tomorrow is Gita Jayanti, and we are celebrating in the temple on Sunday from 10 a.m. We've got a group of kids who will be leading the recitals, not that they will be the only ones. We're requesting everyone to join them, encourage our kids to recite Bhagavad Gita. And most of you would have seen my request for sponsorship or giving Bhagavad Gita in charity. We've got a special price for Gita Jayanti. It's only $15 each. You either sponsor it to be given at presents on Sunday to the participants, and with time permitting, we'll have some quiz as well. Or you donate it, give us a gift or present to your own family members, friends, colleagues, because it's the best Christmas gift you can give. So with these words, I would expect all of you to join us on Sunday, please. Hare Krishna. I'll just repeat anybody who wants to comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavad.
Thank you very much for the nice class, and particularly explaining the expansions of the Lord and how they are connected in different way, and all living beings are part and parcel of the Lord, and the Lord, only by the potency of the Lord or this spiritual spark of the Lord, all material things has got their become enlivened, and they become living only by the otherwise material elements are in dark and they cannot act of their own. Unless we have these sparks of the Lord, everything remains inactive. But with the living spark of the Lord, they become active. And the Lord has also made arrangement for each one of them for their maintenance, so that they can get the proper they have the scope to enjoy their material desire also. The Lord has made that, and only with the Lord's permission it takes place. And no one should think that they can do it of their own, because Lord alone is Sharat, or he is independent. All others are dependent on him, and whatever the Lord allows, only with the Lord's permission they are doing it. But we should not forget that this material world is an opportunity for us to go back to the Godhead. And if we take shelter of the Lord and without without living our attachment for the material things, then we are in the right path, and gradually we can progress in that path, and ultimately can go back to Godhead with the mercy of the Lord, and the Lord's blessing only we can do that. And the living examples of the Lord's are His devotees, and if we serve them with their help and with their blessings, we can get the mercy of the Lord, and in this way we can go back to Godhead, and which is the fulfillment of material life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes. Comment or question? And if not, then repeat the slokas and translation. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text 64. Sritam swa sakate dham anupravistas chaturvidham purma atmana sakena ato vidha satam purusham santam antar bhunakte rishikere madhu sare dham yaha. My dear Lord, after creating by your own potencies, you enter within the creation in 4 kinds of forms. Being within the hearts of the living entities, you know them and know how they are enjoying their senses. The so-called happiness of this material creation is exactly like the bee's enjoyment of honey after it has been collected in the honeycomb. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Srimati Loknath Swami Ti Namne Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ti Nam Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharne Nirvisesa Sunivadi Paschata Gita Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Hare Krishna.
Mantapuri Vaishnava
And
Vrinda ki
please
jai. His Grace Rasparayan Prabhu ki
Jai.
La
jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Guru
Veta Bhakta
Maharaj ki
Vrinda
jai.
ki jai. Srila
Please,
Prabhupada ki jai.
please come on Sunday. Take care during the holiday period. Yeah. Shri Radha Giridhari ki jai. See you on Sunday.